Hey, welcome back. We're going to do a little bit of smart home stuff today, and we're going to start right here at the front door. So, one of the most annoying things in the world to me is we have adult children, and they show up to our house and they start beating on the door, even though we have given them keys to our house. Well, guess where their keys are? Well, they're back at their house. So, where we're going to start today is with a lock. We're going to do a smart lock, and we'll show you how we're going to do that and why we chose the one we did. So we decided to go with the Aqara Smart Lock, and there are a couple reasons why. First, when we were really looking at the smart doorbells, the smart locks, we saw a whole bunch of different things, the level lock, the Yale, the Schlage, and they were all pretty expensive, and some of them had really cool features that I liked an awful lot. We got to the Aqara because we were watching a bunch of the influencer types on YouTube, and a lot of them started to settle on the Aqara. Yeah, there are others who like some of the others better, but this one was two reasons. One, we bought it at Christmas, and as you can probably tell, we're long since past Christmas because there's no snow and it's not that cold. And two, it was on a great deal for a Christmas sale, so we decided, let's give it a shot. First things first, take the hardware off the old door. Every once in a while I have to ask myself a question or two. And in this case, it's like, let alone a fifth grader, am I smarter than a couple of screws and a couple of pieces of metal? In the end, I guess I was smarter than the knob. Finally got it all off and ready to move to the next step. Here we go with the grand unboxing. Here is the back plate. Ready to set that aside. Here's the front plate. It's actually a little heavier than I thought it was. And we'll take out the rest of the container to see what I've got in here. Some batteries, of course. I've got a spludge tool that I'm used to with computer stuff. Rest of the batteries, and a dog who is attacking a screwdriver. A set of keys. I do have to open the last box, and apparently I need to find out if I'm even smarter than a box. Open the box, and yes, we've got some of the identical hardware that we just removed, including some screws. And I know there's got to be a little bit more, so let's tear open this piece of plastic / cardboard. Yep, there's the big screws to go in the back, and I've got a plate that's going to need to attach to the back piece. And the instructions. Now, I'm sure many of you are like I am. You open the instructions and you can tell for sure that they were not written by North American native English speakers. I will live with that. We got a template for the door. I suppose I'm pretty lucky. I pulled the mechanism out and I compared it to the old one, and they are virtually identical in length, which means I'm not going to have to do too much with monkeying around trying to change the size, pull it in and out, and I should be able to use it just as it is. My wife thinks this is the most satisfying thing in the world, is to pull the little plastic protectors off of metal pieces. So I did it for her. This is where you'd normally use the template, and I'm going to go ahead and just set it in place so you can see. With the sun behind, you can tell that it's going to fit pretty much exact. And of course, it's that inner circle, the one closest to the door jamb, and you can see it's going to fit just perfect around the other side. So I don't actually need it. Go ahead and just put back in the cover on the door here. I could have used the one from the old door mechanism, but we decided to just go ahead and do this without getting too complicated. Besides that, who sees the inside of the door jamb, right? So here's one of those Laurel and Hardy movies. I knew that I had to slip the cable underneath, and here I am trying to get that in, and I'm like, what is the matter with me?
why can I not get that in there? So then I'm like, well, is it turned wrong? And will it go this way? Huh. Well, it kind of does go. Oh, look at that. I had it upside down. Don't. Well, you can tell that it's upside down because there's a little notch on the top. And once you get that notch on the top, it slides right in. Go figure that. Here's where I use the little spurge tool, I think that's how you say it, to go ahead and carefully pull this off. You can see that there is a notch there, but eventually, yep, I did. I was able to pull the whole thing off. Here we go. Now there's a little notch on the bottom of the turn, and that just pops right off as well. So now we're ready to plug this in, and you can see that the connector is beneath this little rubber flap, and it is keyed, so you got to be really careful. I got it all lined up, and man, it is really tight because there's not much wire, but with a little effort, I was finally able to snap it in place. So this may have been one of those times that I really should have looked at the instructions, because the first time I put this on, I put it on inside out. And you know, it takes a real genius when you actually see the word top to put it in upside down. Well, not upside down, but at least backwards. And it absolutely has to go this way because of the standoffs for the little screws that go into the backside. But anyway, I went ahead and got that screwed in. And look at that. I'm almost ready for the next step. As you can see from the size of these little screws, I absolutely needed a smaller screwdriver to get the job done. So I carefully put it up into place, lined it up, and went ahead and did the job. One thing you'll notice is I kind of put my finger along the side there to show you that I'm trying to make sure that I get it at least a little bit level. Well, I'm going to get it as level as possible, at least by eyeball. And to make sure it doesn't look like it's too big of a job by a rookie. With that in place, we moved to the front of the door, and we had another one of these pieces of plastic. Satisfying pulling that off. And there's one on the bottom. Let's see, I'm going to pull that one out. Oh, look, I got to the keys. So I'm going to go ahead, slip the key in, make sure that the mechanism works. Yep, certainly does. Good job. All right. When I took off this little turn piece, I thought, oh, there is a top and a bottom. Except, nope, there's really not. It's the same notch on both sides. Had to make sure, no top. Yep, there you go, slip that in place. Make sure it works. Good to go. Next is putting in the batteries, and they were a little tight, but got them in. These are a pack of batteries that you saw earlier that came with it. But as soon as I did that, the mechanism started testing. Yes, it probably would have been helpful had I actually shown all the setup of the software, but I didn't. One thing is, you got to do the software, then you got to do the HomeKit, but in the end, ta-da! Okay, come on inside. And of course, you can do this kind of thing. Hey, lock the front door. We're excited to test the lock over the next little bit and see how well it works for us. So far, so good. We like the idea of not having to get out of bed to make sure the door's locked at night. We like the idea of not actually having to have a key and come out of our pocket, because we've always got our phones with us. We've always got our watches with us. So next step will be to put on a doorbell that we bought during the Christmas season as well. Stay tuned. Thanks for being here.